What's going on, traders? It's Ricky with Tech Solutions. Thank you guys again for joining us for another live stream. For those that are joining us for the first time, we go live Monday through Friday. We pretty much go live during pre-market hours. We talk about what we're gonna be, in a sense, just analyzing. It's kind of just me sharing my whole thought process when it comes down to um, before actually jumping into a position. I answer a couple questions within the live stream, and that's really just it. So the link is going to be provided to you down below if you guys are not a part of the Facebook group already. We're a little bit over now, 31,500 members now worldwide. And the thing that we do best is we provide a supportive community for both new and experienced traders. So we have a good amount of people already tuning in. I'm going to be sharing my screen, and I'm using the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. So for those that are asking what brokerage or what platform I'm using, that's it. Let's kind of go to it and go from there. All right, so this is it. I'm going top to bottom. So this is my watch list on the left-hand side. And I'm going based on volume. I really like to focus on healthy amounts of volume. Again, I'm more of a technical trader, so not a momentum trader. For those that, usually look for momentum traders. We do have a trader within our team. His name's Connor. Feel free to follow him if you guys like the momentum style, as well as Bradley. He's an OTC stock trader, so feel free to reach out to him and subscribe. So let's go ahead and say good morning to a couple of you. It looks like you guys are just already throwing out stocks. So I'd be more than happy to perform some technical analysis on some of the stocks that you guys are requesting. Give me like 5 minutes and I'll get right to it. Thank you again. So RAD, this is RAD A. The past 20 days, let's look at it from this huge drop that it had. So it's been seeing a consistent downward trend. We saw that it started to flatline here around 220. It really started to hold above 220, 221, right? Or 222. And then it started showing signs of upward momentum. The time that it really started to show signs of upward momentum, it was when it was breaking these resistance of, I had the support at 220, broke the resistance at 230, and then popped right through 240. And it's been going up ever since. Right now it's at 263, 264. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's been going up at least 5% every single day. So again, great call out. This is one that we called out in our Sunday stock talk. And again, it just comes down to seeing the sign of upward momentum. What we did was, like, it had the support, it built the resistance, and then it built another support, and then we indicated this upward trend. And it's been, doing it every day, like almost every day. So again, we're getting close to the support here at around 265. And if we continue to see signs of upward momentum and a bounce at the support, then we see this sign of this upward staircase. Therefore, the sell point would be around like 280, just 275. Again, it's not always perfectly at the resistance, but it does have a really nice little profit margin for the day. So this is one that I'm definitely going to want to follow up on. Just wanted to show you guys kind of the trend that we've been previously seeing. And again, just trying to buy close to the support line and sell close to the resistance line, and just keep it very simple. Diaz, it's just has not been performing the way that we wanted it to. It did perform the way that we wanted it to when it came down to when I called it out originally at the support at 2380, and then it broke above 20. What was it? No, not. Yeah, no, it was here. When it originally broke below, it hit lows of like 2380, broke above, and then I ended up selling at like 25. That was a perfect trade. Started showing some upward momentum, hit about 27, and then it's been going down ever since. It's kind of flatlining here around 22. But again, no true signs of upward momentum, and that's the biggest thing. I'm gonna wait till we start breaking these resistance, and when it goes above 23, that would be a better indicator, but as well as when it goes above 2350, it would be a better indicator that's actually starting to move back up, because all day yesterday, it was, going down, hit new highs, and from top to bottom, about like 2390. It's about 2 to 3% profit. So again, nothing huge, but profit's profit. So I just would much rather like to see a more solid buy or just break of a resistance So I'd like to see more of a hold if it breaks above like 2360. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my alert here. When it goes above 2360, it's going to alert me. Also, if it breaks its lows, it's going to alert me as well. Right now we're around 23, right? So again, it's kind of just right in the middle. Um, but that's really just it. So let's the reason for those that don't know why I'm not buying in right now, if um, DGAS is at the lowest point, is like I focus on day trades. I don't like holding these stocks overnight. Again, this is not a penny stock whatsoever. But when it comes down to wanting to invest to later sell for a profit, why would you invest in something that's showing signs of downward momentum? Would it be a much smarter choice to be investing in something that once it starts to show signs of upward momentum, like RAD, to buy close to near to the support and then sell again at the resistance, because it's already showing signs of upward momentum and that it's appreciating in value, much rather than when it's dropping in price and you hope that it actually starts to rise. So that's one of the first things. And then the second thing that I wait for is a break of a resistance, making sure that it's showing signs of upward momentum, and then for it to hold above that resistance to show that it's holding, and then it will continue to rise, and then that's an indicator letting me know that it's actually going to continue to rise, because it just went above 23, but again now it went below 23. So again, no true signs of upward momentum. Alrighty. It looks like AMD, just kind of like we called it out. So let me see if I can pull it up. So we called it out that well, it has a pretty solid support line here around 13. I thought it was going to bounce around 12.75. And what I mean by that is it's been showing signs again of upward momentum. And again, this is a little bit more long term. I was expecting more of a bounce around here, for it to drop a little bit more and then start to bounce, approach the resistance. If this is where it peaks out at, or starts to actually bounce, then great. But there's a resistance here at $14. So we're already in at 13. I mean, it's already at 13.50. So we have 50% or 50 cents profit margin. We have a resistance during pre-market hours at 13.65, and then an overall support during like aftermarket hours around 13.40. But as of yesterday, we have a support of 13.15. So just to get a better understanding, I want to set my alert if it goes below the pre-market support or aftermarket support, as well as if it approaches this specific support. Usually AMD does show signs of downward momentum or overselling when the market opens, has a little pullbacks, and then it bounces, and that's when it had that new low. So this pullback, we might expect it to hit like 1330 or something like that, and that might identify a good buy point, and then which you can later sell at the resistance, which is 2.45%. So not huge, but still profit's profit. SPX, let's take a look. It looks like it has a pretty decent margin since it's dropped so much, but again, we want to catch it at the bounce. It looks like it's just been continuously showing signs of downward momentum, making its way back down to 95 cents. And if it breaks below this $2 price point, then you're most likely going to see a huge drop down to this 95-cent hold resistance, which is going to be a new support. So yeah, I want to be alerted. I just kind of want to know and stay up to date. I'm probably not going to trade it. But who knows? Something that can happen with it's SPEX is because it's down so much. If it does end up holding again above the $2 support, so that's no like mystery, right? That $2 would be a support. But again, there's a lot of people that are going to start wanting to cut losses during the market open, and that might actually push it below $2. And again, just to overselling. But because it had a previous resistance at 260, it has this margin about 23%. If it can make its way back up, that means that those that held overnight are down about 23%. And that's why it's so important to not hold these low cap stocks overnight, because there's an uncontrollable amount of risk involved when you hold them overnight, especially if that wasn't your original plan. And that's something that we've talked about before. All right, well, we have XGTI that's up right now. So this is a pretty decent one. It's gapping up. Does it have any true fundamentals on $4 price point? Okay. Okay, so this could be an interesting one. I'm gonna put this. This can be more of a momentum trade. Has this margin about a little bit less than 5%, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Is gapped up. It used to have a previous resistance at about 210. It broke that resistance and hit highs of 250. So I'll pull back and is now trying to hold above 230. If it drops below 230, then again, we're most likely going to bleed back down to 210, which hopefully that's where it would bounce at because of that being the old resistance, which would later become a new support. So let's see. Looks okay. I'll start talking about the stocks that you guys want me to analyze. All right. Okay. Not too sure. Okay. Well, I know why you guys called this one out. So this one used to trade at 67 cents, had no volume, right? What was this volume? Yeah, very little volume. And then released good news, started gapping up from 60 cents, 7 cents, all the way up to a dollar. And then from the dollar to $1.60 has a resistance at $1.60 and is slowly showing signs of downward momentum. Um, I honestly think this had to do with more overhype, and we're slowly going to see this see downward momentum. Doesn't mean that you can't buy a support and then sell out the resistance, but realistically, it's just a little bit too risky for me. Again, this is too close to that $1 cap, and it was below $1, so not necessarily something that I feel comfortable with trading, since I don't really trade stocks that are below $1. And since this one was below a dollar, literally 2 days ago, then kind of falls into that category. That's what's good. That's what's good to look a little bit back into the history. Let's look a little bit further. Yeah, it's just so it's had this huge drop and now it's gapping up. Well, that's interesting. So then it does have potential for it to gap back up to $3. But realistically, is that going to happen today? Well, it comes down to like if the momentum and the demand is right, then anything can really happen. So that would be above the break of 260. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my alert. So I'll stay up to date with this one. I just don't like that it's been showing signs of downward momentum after it hit its 162. This shows a little bit more signs of a pump and dump, right? That it's overvaluation and then it slowly bleeds down. And then all of a sudden, when it breaks below the $1 mark, it just, drops and plummets to the 67 support. So let's see. Good morning, bud. Yeah. I don't like this one again. Too low of a stock, hitting the resistance at 21. Had a support at around, what is this, 19 yesterday. So it kept bouncing between 19 to 21. This wouldn't be something that I would trade based on. I don't trade stocks that are less than $1, yet alone stocks that are like less than 21 cents or 30 cents. But yeah, so I mean, it has a support resistance here around 20, 21. If it breaks above 21, then that could be something interesting. But overall, it's just not something within my comfort zone. Let's talk about JNUG. JNUG hit highs of $18 yesterday. So I think we're alive when it hit 18. Had a pullback and bounced and tried to hold above 1740 again, but just a very small profit margin from top to bottom. But 3 to 4%, it still isn't bad, especially if you can catch it very close to the support. It's been trying to hold above. Really, we want JNUG to hold above 1750 for it to show signs of upward momentum. And the reason I say that is if you go and do a 20-day analysis, it's been showing signs of upward momentum, trying to make its way back up to this $20 price point. But if it breaks below 18, like 1750 or starts breaking below 17, and that means that it's kind of hitting this resistance that we've had. There's just too many trend lines that I have going on right now for JNUG. But if it breaks below 17, then it means it's most likely going to bleed back down, and the resistance at about like 17, 18 is just a little too strong at the moment. So, but this is a good one to follow up on, especially if you can get it at close to support. If you identify bounce, then it just comes down to you. There's really good people that have been trading JNUG every single day that send me updates on, waiting for the pullback, waiting for the bounce, and then just get in and then get out. So, like even those that got in at the bounce here, the profit margin wasn't very big, right? From top to bottom, if you play that perfectly, it's just kind of hard to identify JNUG when the margin isn't that big. So. Yeah, this is Snapchat. So Snapchat broke below $15 yesterday. Looks like it started to almost come back to 15. If you guys can see during pre-market hours, had a pullback again. It is now back at support at 1480. And I would again like to see Snapchat to start rising in price. It comes down to the basics of, if we go back and do 20-day analysis, after it broke below this 17 support, it's been showing signs of downward momentum. Is this $14 or $15, price point going to be the lowest point? Well, until it starts showing signs of upward momentum, I personally wouldn't invest in Snapchat. So, it needs to start breaking these like $15, $15.50, $16 resistant price points, and then 17 to give us a better understanding that it's making its way back up to, where it used to trade at 17 or 18. So it comes down to, just setting my alerts and kind of just waiting, being patient and not forcing the trade. So I have my alert if it goes above 15. I'm also going to put my alert if it breaks its support, which is its 52-week low. That stock hasn't even been out for 52 weeks, so it's funny. Wow. So I know used to hold above 1770 a number of times, and it looks like it's trying to come back up. So it has this little margin, 7%. So this could be interesting if we could really catch it at a bounce. Maybe we can see a pullback during. So this happened right after market hours. Just trying to look and reading into the news. All right. We've identified the support here at 711. That's funny. I had a previous support here at 780. So again, like we know, old supports become new resistance levels. So we've identified the low points and the high points. It's gapping up. Great. It looks like it had a previous resistance here, but it just broke above it. So that's good. If everything goes according to plan, we might be able to see a pullback. And if it bounces again at 711, then that's only identifying the support there once again. And then I would wait for it to break above 720 again to show signs of upward momentum, and then make its way back up to this resistance. And that's about a 7% profit margin, with a stop loss if it goes below 711 or 710. Therefore, giving us from 720. A 1.2% profit for loss, and a 6 point, or no, what is that? 7.59 potential for a profit. So this is definitely one that's going to be interesting. And I'm just going to set my alerts to see if. All right, rig is coming back up and had a little bit of pullback yesterday, to say the least. So if I'm not mistaken, this is actually the one that has the 1880 resistance. So that would have been a good buy since it pulled back so nicely. Not huge profit margin, and from resistance to the other resistance, about 5%. Not probably not going to focus too much on this. I saw ZN during pre-market hours. Let me see. Yeah, it's if you guys see it from when it peaked out at 477, or where it used to trade 100. Yeah, it peaked out at 690, had a pullback, and it's been gapping up since. So that's good. It's been showing signs of upward momentum, but kind of just very slowly. So nothing crazy. Yesterday we had a really nice pop up to $4.42, which indicates that it kind of set its resistance and it's making its way like staircasing back up there. So right now trading at around 416, 426. But again, this during like before the market actually opens. So I traded this one twice yesterday, and just very small amounts of profit that I was able to squeeze in. But it looks like the resistance at 430 is pretty strong. It has a pretty solid support at 410, so a nice little profit margin from top to bottom of about 3.6%, nothing huge. But if we could see the break at 440, then that would be good. So again, it just comes down to risk management and buying close to or near to the support and selling at the resistance. So let's kind of, we have 4 minutes remaining. I'm going to perform one more, and then I will. I already did. Oh, let me go down. And APRM. We'll do that one, and then we'll. Okay, so I like that it's bounced at the support twice. It has a resistance here at 640, so a nice little profit margin from top to bottom, about 2.5%. So if you guys could see that it bounces here at 623, really peaks out at 641, although it's gone there before. It doesn't hold very well, so we don't really care about that. So when it comes to entry and exit, we want to make sure that it's realistic. And it's funny how it's perfectly playing out that way, but it is approaching this resistance pretty nicely. And if it does end up hitting the resistance and then hold and then break above, then we can have a nice little margin back up to the 660 resistance, which would build another margin for profit, therefore making about 3% and the new support, and then 660 the new resistance. So good call out on that one. I'll set my alert. But I'm also going to set my alert if it goes below 630, because again, I can buy close to or near to the support, and that would be cool. So let's go ahead and I was going to, let's see if I can still do it. Something that you guys liked that I did last time was to recap kind of everything that we talked about today. So for those that didn't tune in from the very beginning, it looks like my roommates started using the whiteboard just because I started using it, so that's funny. I'll just bring you guys along. Alrighty, sorry about that. So when it comes down to kind of the stocks that we all analyze today, these are the ones that I saw the most potential in. RAD, because it's been showing signs of upward momentum. DS, because if it actually does end up bouncing, then that would be a good indicator. And if we get the break above 23 or 23.20, then that would be a good indicator that it can be making its way back up to 24. XGTI, just because it's gapped up so much from its break of its resistance. So let me go back into that one. Broke its resistance at $2.10, made highs of 250. It's back at support right now at 231, making its way with the resistance at 240. So again, just realistic support and resistance on those. And then the last one, the one that you guys called out, APRN, due to that, what's it called? Approaching that resistance will then, once it does end up breaking that 640 resistance, making its way to the $6.60. So a 20% profit margin. Looks like we have a couple seconds now. I'm going to be sharing my screen. We have 8 seconds. And remember, guys, we have 3 rules. Never trade based on anyone else's opinion. Only trade stocks that you see value in, and always have a plan when trading. Market's open. Let's get this going. AMD pullback seen just like we expected, the pullback that we called out. Looks like it's still trying to hold above 1350, which would be good, but again, doesn't leave us a lot of profit margin. Whoa, okay. ZN is capping up. I like that. Still a little bit too overpriced. I'm going to wait for a pullback and then make the decision to potentially buy in. All right, it's gapping up, 234. TGAS still holding below 23. SPEX still, where's that at? Oh, it looks like it's bouncing, but again, approaching that resistance at 220, not doing very well there. Don't like that one. Actually, IMUC looks like it's almost bouncing, but for whatever that is, at 36 cents. Yeah, AMD still dropping, so I have my alert set on that one. ZN approaching this 435 resistance, which you would expect. Okay, broke the resistance and nope, pullback. Yeah, not really playing out. All right, pullback. APRN just broke resistance. So again, but it's at the same place that it was before. So we want to make sure that it breaks above 645 before it's just a false kind of hype. So. Alrighty, let's see. I really do like how ZN is playing out, but it's just hasn't given me a big enough pullback to jump in. We got quite a bit of a gap with the buyers and the sellers, about 3 cents. Let's see. Volume is starting to die out. Uh, Really needs to break that resistance though. Broke below 430 for the buyers. Nope, that's a huge gap, about 8 cents. Sellers give in. Maybe, okay. Kind of did this yesterday as well. So if you guys saw how ZN performed yesterday, had a huge spike up to like again 444. Did pretty well, and then just a little bit too much hype. Saw a pullback, and that was it for that. So let's see. I didn't know it fell below. Okay. All right. All right. So we're back down to 429, 430. As you guys can see, this MACD indicator, it's starting to show signs of downward momentum. If you guys haven't seen that video on, when it starts to kind of show that it signs that it's rounding up, then it's going to most likely bounce back up. Um, Kind of hit its peak and is now showing signs of downward momentum as we're breaking below the 430 resistance. So yeah, it's just not performing the way we want it to. Looks like it's about to break below the support. Yep. Then it gaps back up. That's funny. Huge pullback, 1425. I mean 425. So let's try to get in at the bounce. Like to see it come a little bit closer to the 420. Again, it's just not performing the way that we wanted to. Um, JNUG's kind of gapping up, so that's good. Break the resistance, but it looks like it's peaking out now. Snapchat's still just staying there. Rad breaking or showing signs of upward momentum again. Um, yeah, I think the one that I'm gonna end up trading is has to be Rad. Every other. So sorry, the microphone's down there. I didn't mean to um, make that so loud. T-Gas again, just not doing much. And again, guys, like the stocks that I'm looking at just aren't performing the way that I want them to. So, am I going to force a trade when they're just not what I'm looking for? So why would I risk or invest my money into something that is not playing out the way that I wanted to? And I think that's a very common mistake that people make is like, oh, I need a day trade, every single day, or day trade twice or three times a day to, be a day trader. Like, guys, it really comes down to understanding like that you only invest in what you see value in, and to only invest when the potential's there, right? Forcing the trades are, I've seen more red days than green days when it comes down to forcing, trades and trading based on someone else's opinion and those very common, like, just simple mistakes that are easily avoidable, right? Doing what you think, doing what you shouldn't be doing, and that's, forcing the investment. So I do see potential in RAD just because but it's just now too close to the resistance already, but it's gapping up. So the way that it performed yesterday, it had a little pullbacks and little margins that they built. It's nothing huge, but if we catch it at the bounce correctly, then that could be something nice. So I'm just going to set my alert and kind of go from there. So again, nothing fancy, just RAD isn't just not performing the way that I wanted to. It looks like we did get it. Again, we called out the support at 1340 during the pre-market hours. And why did I call out or know that it was most likely going to bounce at 1340? Well, again, it just comes down to looking and performing a technical analysis on where it previously bounced, within the past day to 2 days to realistically be able to identify how it's going to play out most likely today. So this margin of profit from about 340 to 365 is about 1.85. Nothing huge, but that's realistic because it's built that. So it looks like it's gapping up, and hopefully we have a good amount of traders within our Technical Solutions group chat that are doing well with this one. So yeah, it looks like you guys are calling. Okay, it saw somewhat of a resistance here at 1350. So again, that being a node support, resistance. All right, RAD is coming back down. All right, let's see if I can get in. And I'm using the Fidelity app to execute on my positions. So yeah, it likes 266. So let me see if I can get in. Give me 1 second, guys. My usual position size is about anywhere from 3,000 to 3,500. So again, nothing huge, but that's usually just what I risk per position. So give me 1 second. Trade. It's 266, 267. Previous resistance, or yeah, it was 265. It's bouncing and trying to hold above that line. Again, this is just the line that I drew, so that line truly doesn't mean anything, but it is trying to hold above that. So I'm going to click buy, limit at crap, 267, too slow. All right. All right. Let's come back down. 1,300 shares. There we go. Got filled. And I'm going to set my alert if it goes up below that breaks the support at 265, and then alert if it breaks above 272. And okay, I don't know what it is that you guys want me to do. Sometimes you guys ask me to. Um, I don't know why you guys even want to see like when I buy in, but not too sure if you guys could see. But I'll send the screenshot just because I trust their group a little bit more within TechNet Solutions. No offense, right? It's just They're my team. So I'm in at 260, 267. So not the lowest price. It bounced at 266. The overall low, we're at 268, 269. There's a resistance at 272. So Snapchat just broke above $15. So that's solid. Um, and that's really just it, guys. So I'm going to end the live stream here. I'll follow up with all my trades within the TechBud Solutions group chat. If you guys are not a part of TechBud Solutions already, the link is provided for you guys down below. And yeah, I'm sorry that I'm kind of monotone right now. I have a couple roommates that are sleeping, so they're usually awake around this time, but it's just a little early for them, and I definitely didn't want to like wake them up or anything like that. But I hope you guys found my whole thought process of how to identify potential, planning out my trade, risk management, stuff like that to be somewhat useful. I'm going to focus on my trading for the next hour or two and see if we can break above this $2.70 resistance. ZN is still around 426. I'm still holding above 425, so that's good. But I'll continue following up with my trades. I'll post everything within our TechBud Solutions community. If you guys aren't already, again, the link is provided for you down below. I should be going live for today's helpful video around 5:30 Mountain Standard Time. So again, it's 6:45 here. So in about does that 10 hours and 15 minutes, something like that. So overall, thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Continue sharing your ideas. Continue doing the best it is that you guys, do, and everything it is that you guys choose to pursue. Continue working hard in what you guys love. And like always, guys, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, guys.